Have you ever seen a real life zombie? You're looking at one right now. Today I'm going to teach you about me. You'll learn about what it is to be me and why I refer to myself as a zombie. I'm a father of two. I've been married for 19 years. I worked in mental health for 5 years, and I've had heart issues for about 4 years now. First, you'll learn about my family, next, my heart issues, and then you'll learn about my work in mental health. Let's start with my family. I'm married to a wonderful woman named Tracy. We met in 1996 at one of her friend's house. She was not impressed. But we've been together now for 24 years, been married 19 years. She's my guiding light. She's always there for me, loyal to a fault. And she's the kind of mom that every kid wants. She adores her children and puts them way ahead of herself. She's the best mom I have ever seen, and I couldn't ask for a better mother for the kids. We tried to have a baby for 8 years before Tracy got pregnant with Dominic. We decided to name him after our favorite video game, Gears of War. Although I did try to get her to name him after Thor, which her response was, yeah, no. So Dominic became his name. I was terrified to be a dad. Excited too. And he was so tiny. He had piercing blue eyes. Amazing blue eyes. But he was so tiny I was afraid I was going to break him. Dominic was silent for the first hour of his life, and then he cried unconsolably for 6 hours. He started missing his milestones, and as he grew, and the doctors kept saying it was immature neurology, and he'd grow out of it. But he didn't. Dominic was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5 by the Thompson Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorders. Dominic's brand of autism doesn't look like what you see on TV. He's an extrovert. He doesn't know good personal boundaries. He's extremely intelligent, and he's very kind. He's the most moral kid you'll ever see. CDC estimates 1 in 59 children are diagnosed with autism, but Dominic's 1 in a million kid. When I woke up from my first cardiac arrest, I started telling Tracy, hey, let's have another baby. She said, no, we got too much on our plates. But while I was recovering from my heart issue off work, Tracy's pregnant. Dominic was very excited. I was shocked. It took years for Tracy to get pregnant with her first son, with her first kid, and 1 month on heart recovery, and boom, another one on the way. When she was born, we started noticing that the same pattern of missed milestones, but this time we knew what to do. So we worked hard to get her the help she needs. Gemma was diagnosed with autism at not quite 2 years old. I expected the diagnosis at that point, but I hated the struggles to see her walk and talk every day that she's going through. But she's a stubborn fighter, and I'll do everything I can do to help her. My family means everything to me, and I do things differently because of them, which is why my next topic has changed my perspective on life. November 17th, 2016, my life changed. My heart stopped after I paid for breakfast at Huddle House that morning. Only 10% of people that experience a cardiac arrest outside of a hospital setting survive. I'm one of them. It took 32 minutes for him to get my heart started again. My wife was told the best thing she could expect out of me was to be able to maybe feed myself. I was transferred to St. Louis University Hospital after coming off life support. I didn't know where I was or why I was there. The doctors weren't able to diagnose me with anything, and they couldn't figure out why a very physically fit 37-year-old had a sudden cardiac arrest. They implanted a cardiac defibrillator called an ICD in my side on the 28th, and I went home on the 30th. After a short setback, I began to improve. I went from running up and down the basketball court with 25-year-olds and deadlifting 400 pounds to being worn out just going to the bathroom. I was very glad to be alive, and even though through everything I felt almost invincible. I got stronger every day and went back to work in March. Soon was back to working 65 hours a week. Then the seizures started. They started with me getting real tired and experiencing altered perceptions. A lot of times I felt like the world was at a 45-degree angle. Eventually it got bad enough I was missing work, and one day my boss had to drive me home because I could barely walk. I filed for disability and was approved in 3 months. I'm thankful I've got the disability. We need the money. The family needs the money. But I was angry about it. And I couldn't figure out why did this happen. Why did I become disabled? The seizures eased up, and I went almost down to just having a couple a month from several a week. I started working part-time at a pizza place and started feeling better about myself. I was shocked by my ICD once and had to quit my job at the pizza place for a while. But my ICD had done its job. I was still alive. But on January 16th, 2019, 2 days before I was supposed to go back to working at the pizza place, I got shocked again and again and again. By the time the EMTs got here, I'd been shocked 6 times. I was barely conscious. 2 days later, I was sent back to the SLU, St. Louis University Hospital. My wife had to stay here in PB to take care of her kids. They injected me at 1 p.m. that day with MRI contrast dye. 30 minutes later, at 1:30, they called my wife, telling her I was dying, and I wanted her to know I loved her. I ended up on life support for 11 days. I was shocked over 90 times, and I had to have 6 minutes of chest compressions to get my heart started back. I developed ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and that's why I was on life support for so many days. They still couldn't figure out why, but they were able to get me off of a ventilator, and on the 29th. So no matter what the odds are against me, I keep living, and that's why I call myself a zombie. I had a new ICD pacemaker installed that increased my heart rate to 85. I have an arrhythmia called VTAC, but we don't know why. Genetic testing is inconclusive, but they believe it may be something called Brugada, which is a very rare disorder. I got shocked again this January due to low potassium, and likely I'll be shocked off and on my whole life. My heart issues have given me a different perspective on life and helped me to recognize that any minute could be their last for anybody. Realizing this, I decided to make a life-changing decision to become a licensed social worker and be a mental health therapist. After I failed nursing school, I reluctantly applied for a job in Arkansas where my brother-in-law worked at a locked mental health facility. I become a mental health paraprofessional, or MHPP. Mainly the job consists of talking to people with mental health issues, talking to them about their problems, helping them out. The place is a locked facility, which is for people who were deemed innocent of crimes that they committed due to mental illness. I fell in love with the place, and after 4 years I become the activity director. 8 months after being the activity director, the job I intended to have for the rest of my life, my life almost ended, and so did my career. After going back to work, I started having seizures, and so eventually I become disabled at age 39. The job meant a lot to me, and losing my job and everything affected me mentally. My disability checks don't hardly make ends meet. I make less money, but I still have the same bills that I had before. So I decided this life isn't good enough for my family, and that's why I decided to go back to school. I love mental health work. It's where I'm the happiest. I'm on a course to get a master's degree in social work and be a mental health therapist. It's less physically demanding than the old job I had, but in the same fields I love. Working in mental health helped me to see that failure isn't the end. And the only people who never fail are people that don't try anything. In conclusion, my life is all about family, my heart, and my work in mental health. Do you know what a zombie's like? You do now. Turn it off.